They handed me the flag like it was a gift. Folded sharp, crisp, tight corners. But it felt heavier than any weapon I'd ever carried. I didn't cry. Not there. Not in front of the family that wasn't mine. I just nodded. Like I knew what to do. Like the uniform still gave me a script to follow. But the moment I sat in my truck, with the flag in my lap, my breath collapsed. Like a lung shot I never saw coming. I met Daniel in basic. He was from Mississippi, loved sweet tea and hated sand in his boots. He talked fast, laughed louder, and ran faster than anyone else in the unit. We weren't just soldiers. We were fools who thought brotherhood made us bulletproof. We shared everything. Meals, cigarettes, letters from home, dreams about what we'd do when we got out. He wanted a dog, a farm. Said he'd never wear combat boots again, only muddy ones. I still remember his boots. How they faced the wrong way when they put them by his helmet. That image doesn't leave. I remember how Daniel used to hum before missions. Low, off-key, always the same tune. Said it helped him stay calm. Said if he stopped humming, we should start worrying. He never hummed that morning. The night before that last patrol, he gave me a photo. Dog-eared, sun-faded. A girl with missing teeth and wild curls, his niece. Promise me you'll visit her if I don't come back. I told him not to talk like that. He smiled, but didn't promise to stop. The last time I saw him, he handed me half a sandwich. Too much mayo, he said, grinning. We were on patrol the next morning. Sun was rising, hot and gold, the way it always is before something awful. Daniel took point. Said he liked the view up front. Said he could smell the enemy before he saw them. Then everything turned white. Sound exploded inward. I was on the ground, ears bleeding, heart screaming. I called for him. Screamed for him. Ran toward where I thought he'd be. There was no Daniel. Only smoke. Heat. A crater where laughter used to live. They never found his body. Just his tags. Just enough to send something home. At his funeral, I watched his mother fold into herself. She looked at me like I brought the war home in my boots. I did. I carried on. Because I had to. Because that's what we do. The mission keeps going. Even when the ones you love don't. They gave me medals. Polished and pinned. Said I did well. Said I was brave. But I didn't feel brave. Brave would have been standing between him and whatever took him. Brave would have been trading places. Now when I hold the medals, they feel like lies. They shine too bright for what I lost. The flag doesn't shine. It waits. It forgives. It remembers. I tried talking about it once. To a counselor. He nodded a lot. Took notes. But he never said Daniel's name. Not once. How do you explain silence? How do you explain the echo of someone who never made it back? So I stopped talking. Started watching old war movies. Just to hear someone yell his name again. Sometimes I wear the uniform. Not for pride. For memory. Because it's the only thing that still fits. They sent me back to the field the next day. Different platoon. Same mission. Different boots. Same blood. But something was missing. The way the ground sounded without Daniel's steps. The way no one laughed anymore. I kept hearing his voice. In the crackle of the radio. In the silence before a door kicked open. They told me it was shock. Normal. Expected. But it felt like betrayal. I was alive. He wasn't. And I hated myself for it. I wrote a letter to his mother. It took me 3 weeks to finish one page. What do you say to the woman who gave the world her son? And got silence in return? I left out the worst parts. The smell. The scream. The crater that swallowed him whole. I said he was brave. Said he went fast. Said he wasn't alone. I lied. When I came home, no one asked about Daniel. They asked about the mission. the medals, the body count. But not the boy with the crooked grin, not the one who hummed before patrol. I visited his house once, stood outside the fence, watched the curtains move, but no one came out. I didn't knock. What would I say? Sorry, I came back instead. I turned around, drove away, didn't look in the mirror. Weeks passed, then months, then years. I stopped talking about it. Stopped talking at all, really. My world got quieter. Just like that moment before the blast. Still. Heavy. Waiting. One day I opened an old footlocker. The kind they give you when you leave the service. I hadn't touched it in over a decade. Inside was dust. Old photos. Dog tags I couldn't throw away. And an envelope. My name. In his handwriting. Daniel. My hands shook. Not because I was afraid. Because for the first time in years, he was real again. I didn't open it right away. I made coffee. Sat at the table. Stared at the name like it might vanish if I blinked. Then I opened it. There were only a few lines. If you're reading this, I didn't make it. Don't carry me like weight. Carry me like wind. And don't forget the dog. You still owe me that. I laughed. For the first time in years. And cried with my face in my hands. He always knew what to say. Even from the other side. I kept the letter on the table for weeks. Read it every morning, like a ritual. Same words. Same voice. Same ache. I started hearing him in other things. The rattle of a screen door. The sound of boots on concrete. The hiss of steam rising from a coffee pot. He wasn't haunting me. He was reminding me that I'm still here. And he isn't. I walked through a parade once. Veterans Day. People clapped. Cheered. Someone handed me a small flag. I almost dropped it. Because I thought of the one I couldn't return. The one folded too neatly to open again. The one that belonged to someone who didn't get a welcome home. Some nights, I sleep in the chair by the fireplace. Medals in a drawer. His letter in my hand. And I whisper, still carrying you, brother. Still wind. I decided to do something. Not for me. For him. I started writing. His name. Again and again. Daniel. 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 As if repetition could resurrect memory. As if a name said enough times could bring him home. I sent his story to every veterans group I could find. Most never replied. A few said thanks. One said, we already have too many names. That one stayed with me. Too many names. Like memory had a limit. So I made a plaque. Carved it myself. Wood from an old barn. Nails from the shed. It wasn't fancy. But it was true. His name in the grain. Permanent. I brought it to the local VFW. Asked if they'd hang it. They said yes. No questions. No fanfare. Just a quiet nail and a small nod. Weeks passed. One day, I went by again. A kid was standing under the plaque, reading his name out loud. Daniel Cole, private first class. He turned to his mom. Was he a hero? She didn't answer. But I did. Yes, I said. He was the kind of hero who gave someone like me a second chance. The kid nodded, didn't smile, just stood there, silent, still, like he knew, like Daniel had told him, somehow. After that, I started going to schools, talking to kids, not about war, about friendship, about promises kept and broken, about what it means to carry someone with you, long after they're gone. They listened, more than I thought they would. Maybe because I didn't shout. Maybe because I didn't flinch. I just told them the truth. And said his name. Daniel. Sometimes when I say it now, it feels less like pain and more like prayer. I walk past that plaque every week. Brush off the dust. Straighten the frame. And when no one's looking, I whisper, "You're not forgotten. Not on my watch." These days, things are quieter. No parades, no speeches, just the hum of the heater and the creak of old floorboards. My body reminds me of time. My knees ache when it rains. My back protests every morning. But my mind? It still walks through dust and fire. Sometimes I sit on the porch, just to hear the wind. And I wonder if it's carrying his voice. If he ever got that dog. If he'd like what I did with his name. I don't get many visitors. Families moved on. Some don't call. Some don't remember who I was before I got old. But I remember. I remember everything. I still keep his letter close. The edges are softer now. The ink is fading. But the words burn brighter than ever. Don't carry me like weight. Carry me like wind. I repeat it on heavy days. Like a mantra. Like armor. There are moments, brief, sharp, when I forget he's gone. When I catch myself turning to say something, and he's not there. Grief plays tricks like that. Makes you see shadows. Makes you hold on. Even when you know there's nothing left to hold. I used to think bravery was something loud. Something you earned. But now I know. Bravery is quiet. It's showing up. It's telling the story. Even when your voice shakes. I talk to kids who weren't born when we shipped out. They ask if war is like the movies. I tell them, the explosions are louder. The silence afterward is worse. They ask what medals mean. I say, medals mean someone came back, and someone else didn't. My medals sit in a drawer now, tarnished, forgotten. But the folded flag? That still has its place. Right where I can see it. Right where I can remember. I don't have many years left. I feel that. The bones tell you before the calendar does. But I'll keep saying his name. For as long as I have breath. Daniel. Private first class. My brother. My best friend. And when I go, I hope someone remembers me. The way I remembered him. Not for the medals, but for the folded flag. I never stopped carrying.